All right, it says I'm live. I'm sure it's going to be a little bit before some people start coming in just because I was just on Britt Glow's channel and she is doing her live. And I know we share similar followers, not to mention she has been gracious enough to shout me out. So I really appreciate her support. But I know we share very similar subscribers, and I know some people are in her live right now, which is fine. So today sorry, I have to move this. Hey, Claire. So today I actually have a couple of things I wanted to actually talk about. It's a little bit more planned, but of course, as always, if you guys ask questions or want to talk about something different, I'm totally open to that. One of the things I wanted to talk about is the I Stand with Sophie stuff. There was another court date, and if you haven't seen my other lives, of course I've made videos about it, but I've talked about it in some of my lives that because I've worked in the profession, I kind of wanted to wait until court proceedings happen before I feel comfortable talking about it. However, there was a court proceeding that happened. It was not open to the public, but we got some information. A lot of different YouTubers have covered it already, especially Sloan. Sloan he's gone above and beyond for using his platform for this child. And, I have the utmost respect for him for doing that. I just take it a little bit differently than he does because I have worked in the profession, and you can tell from my videos that I've talked about why I may be a little bit hesitant. However, it does appear that the children are with the father and are going to be remaining within the father's care until November. And then there is another court hearing. There is rumors that the mother has gotten arrested. I've heard through the grapevines different charges being placed on her. I'm not really going to speak to that until we have proof or mugshots. I'm not going to say that that's legit. It's just rumored. It wouldn't be surprising. However, some of the information that's come out has made the situation even more so serious because this child is so young, and she was actually documenting the trauma she was experiencing, not knowing how to work through it because so many people weren't on her side that should have been. And, there's been speculation and there's still question as to the mother and the grandmother's role in all of this. It has been alleged that the mother was aware these things were happening. And if that is the case, although the mother maybe allegedly have charges now, if that ends up being what comes out, I would not be surprised if that mom is not arrested for human trafficking because she trafficked her child. So I'm interested to see how that actually plays out. And that just goes to show how serious this case is. So, hey, Michelle. So I wanted to talk about it briefly because there have been some updates that have come out with the case. It's really a sad story. However, I'm happy that a lot of people have taken it as seriously as they have. And I hope that the long-term effects of social media getting involved with this particular case is that change actually happens in the systems, in all child welfare systems, because it does show that there is a break. In Sloan's video, he showed a body cam of law enforcement going to the mom's house to do a welfare check on one of the boys. I don't know the timing of this, so I'm not sure when this happened. However, I see a lot of people getting upset at law enforcement for not doing their jobs, and I agree at some parts throughout this case, they have obviously, in my opinion, could have handled things differently. But with a welfare check, it's very different with children and adults when it comes to law enforcement. They can't force their way into a home unless they have probable cause. They can't force parents to, depending on the state and the situation, they can't force parents to actually present children. That's what CPS does. That's their job, to make sure that children are safe. CPS actually has more grounds than law enforcement when it comes to children. So I understand people's frustration, especially with knowing the truth that has come out and the information that is ever flowing and ever being we're being informed of. Although it's sad and although it's heartbreaking, we really have to kind of take a step back and look at the positives that could come out of this situation. She is safe currently. Everybody wants to continue saying how everybody failed her. I agree. There were a lot of mistakes, a lot of bad things happened that could have been prevented sooner. However, they were doing what they could in the time that they could. And, they are protecting her. They are actually stepping up. I do agree a lot of it has to do with YouTubers and social media putting the pressure on these agencies. I really think that does help a lot, and that is why this is happening the way it is. But I want people to kind of think of it in that perspective too. Like, it does suck that, it sucks that it's as sad as it is, but hopefully change will come out of it. All right. So I think there was a couple of other things with Sophie that I knew about that I hadn't talked about. I can't remember the last time I discussed her, what was all said. So if you guys have any questions about that situation or want any more information, just ask me a question about that. I'm just going to check and make sure. I did take some notes primarily for a later topic. But I always change my phone and I misplace where everything's. You guys can't inundate me with messages. I won't be able to keep up. I'm not as good as keeping up with the chat as she is. About her father asking people to hold off for the moment. Yes, it's live. Hold off from what? I'm not sure what he's asked people to hold off for. The content varies of the stream. We're just talking about other YouTubers and other topics I've discussed. I don't know if okay, I missed your comment, Michelle, to see that it's heartbreaking to see children suffering. Yeah, and unfortunately, we see it a lot more with the way social media is taking precedence for entertainment for others. We see it with family channels and stuff like that. Don't get you started on those two. Which two are you talking about, Michelle? The Vallow case? Hi, Caroline. Rain, I saw somebody said that he had full custody, and I was like, that's what frustrates me, and that's what I've said. I don't know if you've made it in my other lives. I know you follow me on Twitter, and you are on a lot of my videos. I don't know if you've made it for my other lives, but I've specifically said I am very careful about covering Sophie in her story because I know the courts are involved. I have done this professionally before, and I know what effects it can have. So I am very careful about discussing this topic. And I always am pretty surface level until we get the final result, but it is important to talk about. I want to make sure that her story does stay in the forefront. So I don't feel any information I'm providing would be going against the dad's wishes, but if you think it is, definitely let me know. 8 passengers, I've made a video on them. I think when everybody started making videos a while back, I made one. Obviously, I was a lot small. I'm still a small channel, but I was even smaller then. And that video didn't get a ton of views, but it got quite a few. And I was one of the only creators who I guess they haven't found made a pretty judgmental video of my opinion of how they were treating their kids during all that. Hi, Lisa. Thank you, everybody who's coming from Brit's Live. I appreciate you guys so much. You guys really did all come over here. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Like I said, when I can't remember who said you guys were coming. You have to go slow with me. I'm not as good as Brit with keeping up with the chat. Yeah, it was Special K who told me that you guys were coming. Yeah, you guys traveled the same train. That's funny. So I know some of you guys are probably coming in or just subscribing because of Brit. I cover similar topics to her as her. I'm kind of a mismatch between her and like BXB's boy. I kind of talk about everything. I talk about my own personal experiences growing up. Everything's in a playlist if you're new to my channel. I don't expect people to watch everything I make. I know some of the videos I film are hard to get through, and I do it more for awareness than anything and to try and be a voice. No, I agree with you, Rain. I feel a lot of people hold that sentiment that family channels are primarily focusing on their children for their content. Like the parents aren't really providing any kind of content to their channel. It's their kids and they're just filming it. Yes, I agree. Special K, women supporting women. Oh, I appreciate that, Bob and Carrie. It is touching my personal story, and I know that's kind of conceited for me to say, but it shows, and it shows how much that people can go through and where you can end up in life. And in putting that in the internet, I was hoping that children or teenagers or adults who are struggling with their stories and with their past, that they have somebody that they can listen to and maybe relate to enough and see that it does get better. It just takes time. I appreciate all of you guys who have been here. Toad's Wild Ride, I totally understand that sentiment. I talked about that in my last live. I have always been a silent viewer. I always watched there's still YouTubers that I watch every video they put out, and until I became a YouTuber and saw how much engagement actually means to a channel, I wouldn't like their videos, I wouldn't comment on their videos, I wouldn't do any of that. But now that I see how much it helps that individual, I have tried to make sure I participate a lot more. And with that, I know, was Britt talking about this tonight? I can't remember. So along the lines of engagement and like commenting to this is just something I wanted to talk about and see how other people feel, is us smaller YouTubers like myself and like Britt and, even BXB's boy, who have quite a bit of a smaller following. How is it that we can manage to make time to acknowledge our fans, to acknowledge our followers, our subscribers, whatever you want to refer to yourself as? We can make time out of our day to make sure we have that engagement. But larger creators, once they are making enough money, I guess they don't care. Is it that they don't care about the engagement and that's why they no longer interact with their audience? I want to know what other people's opinion on that are, because I don't know where I are they just that busy? Because I work a full-time job and I have people in my house I have to care for, but I still manage to try and, reply to everybody and keep that engagement going, because I want like a community to be built. I don't want just numbers. If I'm familiar with parental alienation, I mean, I don't know if I know it in the term that you're referring it to. I know of like neglect in targeted children. I haven't ever used the term parental alienation before. You were a lurker until recently too, Jen. Sorry if I fall behind in the chat. Like I said, I'm not as good as keeping up like Britt is. I'm used to only having a few people in here at a time. You think they don't care and they need some mods? Yeah. I can agree with that. If you feel that you don't have anything to contribute, like why comment? And I was along those lines too, and I'm not trying to convince you of otherwise. However, I have started just to, like, if they are saying things that I agree with, I will try to at least put, oh, I agree. Or if it's a female creator and she has like nice makeup on, I will comment on her makeup. Simple things like that, just to provide that extra engagement for them. You say hi to everyone. You do. I see you in Britt's lives, always acknowledging everybody and, keeping the live chat going, even if she falls behind. You're really good at that. It occurs in custody cases that get hostile and bitter. It's fascinating. I'm trying to think on what term. I'm pretty sure I know what you're referring to, but I don't know what term I've used professionally for it before. I'm trying to think of it. But that does, so I don't think we ever referred to it as anything. Whenever parents would try to convince a child, let me know if I'm on the right page, Bob and Carrie. When parents are going through a custody battle and they try to convince their children or child the other parent is doing X, Y, and Z, or try to brainwash the children almost, is that what you're referring to? Because I've been involved in stuff like that, not like personally, but professionally. I've seen that happen. And Toads, don't feel pressured. I mean, if you're not comfortable doing it, don't. I mean, there's other ways, like when you're in a live and you're providing feedback and you're having that discussion, that's engagement too. Only if you're ever comfortable. That's just what I have learned. And I still view myself more of a viewer than as a YouTuber. I understand I am taking that role and that people are watching me, so I try to be careful, and especially on lives and how I talk, because I have a sailor mouth, so I really have to censor myself to some degree. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea to hear cuss words all the time, which is primarily why I do it. I just don't want to offend anybody. You're welcome, Christine. I mean, it's true, and I think everybody deserves compliment where if you deserve a compliment or you're doing something good or anything like that, like, I'm going to acknowledge you guys. It's basically one parent poisoning the child's perception. Yeah. I was kind of on the same pathway. I don't think we ever referred to it as parent alienation, but I know what it is. And it is fascinating, but it's also very sleazy of the parents, obviously, to be behaving in manners like that. I don't think a lot of people, as viewers, really do understand how much engagement helps a creator. It helps push you into the algorithm, which just helps you get seen more, so more people will have access to your content, which obviously in turn will help you grow your channel, which at the end of the day, whether you're on this to make money or not, you're trying to get your voice out there. You're trying to build some form of platform. And I am very much in Brit's sentiment that I am not on here to make money. I don't care if I make money from my YouTube. Once I even get to the point to be reviewed for that, I don't think I will be. I think I'm going to end up in Sloan's position where I am demonetized based off of the sensitivity of the content I make, and I'm okay with that. I don't care if that happens, but I make videos and I put time and effort into it because I want to get my voice out there. When is it a good time to ask about my cool nails? So I have people in here who weren't in here in my last stream. I am actually I was requested in my last live to do a video doing my nails. I do my own, minus my pinkies have popped off. I do my own nails. These are just the gel tips, and I will talk about all of it when I do my video. I might do it tomorrow because some of my other nails are starting to lift. If not, it'll be up this weekend. It's going to probably be a voiceover, but they're the gel tips. And then I used a blue nail polish and then a chrome powder on this set. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for my next set. It might be a little bit more fall-like. It is long-term traumatizing. However, in my opinion, you've seen my personal story, so you know anything that you experience as a child that could be traumatic, if you're of a certain age, it's going to have long-term effects. That's why I was so mad about the Stoffers, because that little boy is going to have long-lasting effects on him. It is easy. I agree with that, Lisa. It's easy for a viewer to sit back and critique, but I know that you creators have a tough platform to maintain. I don't feel that I appreciate every single one of you guys, but I don't feel at this point my platform's tough to maintain, just because I feel like the community that I am building, and I think Britt would probably feel the same way, the community that we're building, I feel is very genuine, and we're very honest with you guys. So we're not getting a lot of hate. We're not getting, bombarded with negativity. It's all pretty positive. And I mean, people disagree with me, and that's fine, but it's not a negativity thing. It's more of an adult disagreement, and we have a conversation about it. It would eventually put you into recommendeds, yeah. You need a how-to video? Well, I probably won't do blue again, but I was thinking of gray, and I just have to see if I got this chrome powder, which is on this set, so I don't know if the lighting in here is really showing it or if it's just super sparkly. So it actually shifts colors. It's like a holographic powder. I might use that on a darker color, because last two sets I have done have had that powder on it. You can probably see the pink set I did before this set in some of my videos. Hi, Terry. I know a lot of people are here from Brick Glow, and I really appreciate her shout out. That was very nice of her. Toad's Wild. I could not do this is probably within the last few months, my nails have started to look like maybe I had gone and done them professionally, but I've been doing my own for about a year, and it took that long for my practice to get up to where I think they look actually somewhat nice. So don't be discouraged, especially when you see how the process I use for mine. It's something almost anybody could do, and with repetition, I've perfected it for myself. It is hard to be in a field of protecting children. No, it happens every single day. Your story definitely helps kids in the future, I'm sure. I hope it does. And you've been in my lives, I've worked in child protection previously. And when I talk about family channels and I talk about like the Sophie stuff for my new followers, I try to weave that in an easy way. I've never said what I actually did in child welfare, and I don't plan on it for obvious reasons. But if you're intelligent, which I'm sure most of you are, you can probably assume what I did. Do matte, gray matte. I love the color gray, and since it's actually cooling down where I'm at, I'm thinking I'm probably going to do a gray. I am not a fan of matte though. I tried the matte look like once and I absolutely did not like it. I don't know why. I just don't like the look of it. You guys should schedule back-to-back videos. Maybe we could. I mean, I wouldn't mind too. An ombre fade. Okay, I'm not that skilled. You are putting a little bit too much on me. I can't do ombre. I love gray nails. I've done them before. And I think I have like a lighter gray and a darker gray. I have a couple of different grays. You can do it. You have faith in me. I'm definitely not going to try and do it for a video because although I enjoy it's soothing to do my nails, just like doing my makeup, it takes me about an hour to an hour and a half. And I've tried to do more fancy things at times, and it takes like 2 hours. And most of the time I end up messing up, and then I get super frustrated after a while. So I don't know if I want to set myself up for that. Maybe I'll practice after my next set. When I go to do other ones, I'll practice. And if I get it down and you guys enjoy the nail video, I might do it again. If you're new here, you can probably tell my content is all over the place. I am not, which totally goes to show I'm not trying to fit in anywhere. I've got content on doing my makeup. I've got content of commentary content. I have content talking about my life story, growing up in foster care and being adopted. Those are in playlists. You can't keep your nails from chipping. I had that problem until I got a really good top coat and I started using gel polish instead of normal polish. It's all right. So, your friend got you professional products. What kind of products were they though? Like, were they the gel, and did they give you an actual, like a decent lamp to cure your nails in? I'm not sponsored by anybody, but the McCart kits are a lot of the products I use. I use a lot of McCart products and then a lot of products from E-Nail Couture, which I know he has been known to be a little bit problematic in the past, but so I talked about Sophie. The other thing I was going to talk about is our best friend, who I always end up talking about in lives because she's not worth making a video about anymore, but it's easier for me to talk about her and provide opinions on her when I have others to talk to. Just base and top coat. Yeah, so look into it. There's some pretty cheap what are they called? UV lamps, sorry, or LED lamps. There's some like $25 ones on Amazon that you can buy, and buy gel polish, which if there's a base coat, then you probably have gel polish. You need to cure that. That's what makes it hard. And I've had these on for like 2.5 weeks, and they are not, you can see the lifting I'm getting back here, but they are not chipped at all. And I type a lot at work. So gel polish is the way to go. So, I do the same thing. I listen to videos while I'm at work too. If I'm at my desk and I'm typing, I listen to YouTube. You want a shout out? I don't mind shouting you out, but I know I'm not going to pronounce your name right. So I see you. If you put your name in the, what is it called? Phonetically. If you put your name phonetically, then I'll try to say it. Fadia, maybe? Sorry if I butchered it. So, Karen was going to be the other topic I discussed this evening. Unless you guys have any other questions about Sophie or any questions about child professional questions, like the parental alienation stuff. If not, I'm going to talk about Katie. She makes your brain hurt. She makes everybody's brain hurt. Anybody who can see through the misty veil she has, she makes all of our brains hurt. Yeah. So I'm sure you guys are aware, and I know it was brought up a little bit in Brit's stream, but she didn't. She is all over the place. I'm all over the place too with my content. And I think that's the difference. Like, in my opinion, I'm at least somewhat put together for my videos, and what I actually talk about is stuff that I know about. Or if I don't provide misinformation like she does. But my content's all over the place. Personally, I'm not. I mean, you can't tell I'm all over the place in my personal life. I think everybody is, though. She thinks she's the internet police. She tries to be, and unfortunately, she's done a pretty good job at it, which is why, it took so long for people to be willing to talk about her. She finally has a group of people who are not going to be afraid of her and who are going to talk about her and call her bad behavior out. Nothing I have said, nothing BX has said, nothing Brittany has said, nothing Vicky has said, nothing anybody that I support and watch and have said anything critiquing her or calling out her poor behavior has been grounds for her to take any legal action, in my opinion. She looks the internet looking for people talking about her and goes after them. I would love for her to try and go after me because I could care less. Will I probably bite back? Yeah, but if it gets to that point, she's not going to like me. I've been very nice in discussing her and her behaviors to this point. I really haven't been that mean. I really haven't called out some of the very nasty things that she has been known to do. So if she ever tries to come at me, the gloves will come off and I won't care. Because unlike her, I'm not doing this as a profession, so I could care less if a video were to ever be monetized and get demonetized or get pulled off the internet because I was too mean. It's okay. I knew what you meant. What's funny is she started going for and I'm sure you guys are all aware because it was mentioned in Britt's live stream. She tried to go for Janelle from Teen Mom 2, was it? She tried to get into that drama. It is questionable how she has all the time, but that is also why people critique her ability to report on stuff, because there's no way she's actually taking the appropriate amount of time to research some of these topics and talk about them, and that's why she's made an ass of herself and has misspoken and said things incorrectly on multiple occasions. So, I mean, it does reflect, if you actually know, like I called her out for calling out that Facebook trafficking group for children. I called her out for, forcing out misinformation and misrepresentation of terminology because she doesn't know what she's talking about. She's mean and hateful and never has anything nice to say. Yeah, I think that's spot on. If she's talking about anybody, it's not in a good light. And if she ever does talk about somebody in a good light, her opinion changes like within a few hours. Report on actual facts. So the way I feel, because I primarily report on stuff and then provide my opinion, and I am very clear about that. The problem with her is, and this is what I think you mean by that, is she is presenting everything as it is fact, even if it is her opinion, and that's a problem. And whenever she does something and people are questioning her, like with the Sophie stuff, when she made a fool of herself by getting on, and then she got the backlash, and then she's tried to cover those tracks with all of this other stuff she's done, people can see through that. It's like I have a pack of chihuahuas biting at my ankles on all social media platforms. Yeah, if she gets word of you, you do. That's what I've heard. I got blocked on Twitter, which is cool. I could care less. I have another account. So today I actually went and looked at all this stuff because in the last live I did, you guys, some of my viewers who were there were asking me about the video she had made. And I hadn't seen it yet. I told you guys I'd go watch it, and I did go watch it. And I have comments on that. And then I have comments on how she handled this Janelle stuff. And I've screenshotted a whole bunch of stuff from her Twitter. And I downloaded a few of her videos in case she tries to delete them, because she does that. But if you're new here, I never provide receipts. Part of that is because this is just my opinion. Another part of that is I don't know how to edit. So I can't, even if I wanted to, I couldn't edit it in. So my nail video is probably going to be super interesting. It's either going to be really long or I'm going to have to film it from my phone instead of my camera. Oh, thank you, Della. I saw that too. She would be all against something and then turn around and go the opposite direction. She goes the opposite direction and she tries to cover her bad reporting or her poor choice of words by deleting it. She did the same thing with the Sanders stuff. She deleted those lives where she made a fool of herself. Every time she does something that is like super questionable and obvious that she's wrong and obvious she made a mistake, she deletes it. Yeah, you're just learning how to edit. I don't know how to edit at all. I have downloaded a few different softwares that Josh from the Dad Challenge podcast recommended. But when I did that, shortly after, my laptop stopped working in volume. So when I've been doing my lives, I'm doing it from my husband's laptop, which is a gaming laptop, and I'm always afraid I'm going to break something. So I don't want to download any software onto his computer. I'm trying to work around my audio issue on my other computer. You noticed he kind of distanced himself on his video today. I did not watch his video today. That's like your husband too. Yeah, my husband's a large gamer, both on his laptop and he's a PlayStation guy. So he games a lot, which is fine because it works out for me to be able to do my YouTube stuff and it not like be like I'm taking time away from him. Oh, are you talking about he distanced himself from Katie? Or was he distant in his video today? I maybe had misread that. I've kind of noticed he distanced himself from her the second she did that awful choice of a video saying that Sophie was being bratty. From what I remember, he made a comment about disagreeing. Does he call her, does he name her, or is it just evident in how he talks? I did not know that, Toad's Wild Ride. I didn't know she inserted herself into the Facebook group and was requesting people. No way, Bob and Carrie. I'm gonna have to go watch that because I want to know how he addressed that. But you know, this is gonna sound really bad. Sorry, I have lip gloss. So another thing, also like Katie, I have ADHD. I am unmedicated though, and I haven't been since I was little because I can manage it. But I tend to fidget a lot and move around a lot, and that's why. And if it's ever super distracting for you guys, please just tell me because I don't even notice it until I look at myself and I'm like, why am I flinging around a thing of lip gloss? I was gonna say something. So what's interesting with Dad naming her and kind of distancing himself, to me, that shows how many bad things she has done or how much negativity she has around herself that he feels he has to publicly acknowledge it. And I'm sure he has people just like I did, just like Britt did, just like Sloan does, in our comment section saying, beware, be careful, da 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 da. I don't think Britt got as many of those because her first video on her, or her second video on her, that the one that really got a lot of traction, she was calling her out. But on the first few videos I did without a crystal ball, I stayed very neutral. And I had a ton of comments, and you can go back and look at my comment section if you are interested, because I don't delete anything. I don't monitor my comments. The only comments I've ever deleted are those stupid ones that everybody gets where it's like a adult film promotion spam thing. So it shows that to me, that's saying that it's being pushed out even more, that she's just not a good person to associate yourself with. Yeah, I did. I really appreciated his collabs with BX and Sloan. That was really thoughtful of him to do. Hey Jay, yeah, no, I agree. I'm assuming he's polite about it, but I still want to know how he handled it. He has a bigger platform than myself, and the only larger creator that I know of, let me throw that out there. You guys might know of others, and if you do, let me know. The only larger creator I know of who has called her out is BX. Sloan has remained, relatively neutral. He was very pro and would acknowledge the fact that he was friends with her and stuff like that. However, since the Sophie stuff, he's kind of backed off being as supportive, but saying, he just doesn't want to get involved, which is understandable. But the only other people who are really calling her out and not being afraid of her are people with smaller platforms. And I understand why people with larger platforms are going to be more hesitant. I do understand that. I was neutral. I'm not anymore, especially in the lives, because you guys see my actual reaction and what I actually think on these lives. I don't have, the time to sit there and take a deep breath and calm down. And I'm not an angry person, but you can tell some of the stuff she's done really bothers me. Bye, Christine. Have a good night. Yeah, Sanders has done this before, though. I don't know if anybody has watched him previously. I have been on YouTube for a long time as a viewer. And Sanders is somebody, this is really going to, so a long time ago, there was a long time, that sounds really funny. How many years ago was it? It's when Smokey Glow's channel started, pretty much. There was a creator named John Cookian who was super problematic, and that's actually how Smokey Glow's channel blew up the way it did. With good reason. I like Smokey Glow. Don't take that the wrong way. There's something weird going on with her content right now, though. But that individual, when that stuff was going on, Sanders was also involved in it and behaving similarly to how he did with the Shane stuff, and he disappeared off YouTube for a while, and then he came back and said he was healthier and he had to look into himself and change some things. So I am not surprised that he's disappeared. He's done it before. I don't think it was just Katie and her people going after him that made him go silent. Like I said, Sanders, I think he has like good intentions when he's just being very stagnant or slowly gaining subs. But just like when that John Cookian thing happened, he rapidly started gaining subs. So, he saw his stuff being pushed out more. He saw he was getting more traction, and he was being a little bit more reckless, and he made the same mistakes again. Yeah, Lisa, he has been MIA. He's been like a drama T reporting channel. He tries to he's hard to explain. He's like a mixture between like a serious Peter Mon and like a wannabe news reporter. That's how his content was. John Cookian was a nightmare. I started watching YouTube like right before all of that stuff happened, and I was younger, so I was intrigued by all the drama. It's like, what is all of this? It wasn't about her. It was about how she exploited a little boy traumatized by his adoptive parents, about a little girl who screamed for help. She needs to understand the effects. She doesn't. That is the truth. That's honestly the truth, is she doesn't get it. And she doesn't know how to handle these kinds of stories appropriately. And that's the problem I have, because there have been other creators to discuss both topics who, as far as I know, haven't experienced anything and have been able to report on them with the respect they deserve. She does not, because she just doesn't care to actually learn the effects of abuse and neglect. That's honestly my raw opinion in her issues with reporting stuff, is I don't think she genuinely is taking the time to really know what childhood abuse and neglect does to people long term. Karen cracked you up whenever you read one of her tweets where she is so impressed with herself. She said how she has such a large platform. I saw that, and I think that's one of the ones I screenshotted. I watch Smokey Glow as well, but lately have started to dislike her. I can't, we started, maybe it was you in Brit's live, like not this last one, maybe a week ago, where she was brought up and we were having this discussion. I was in that comment, in that chat. I think I maybe have figured it out, or at least from my perspective, I think I've figured out why I'm turned off by her slightly right now. She does. She does think 100,000 subs is the same as a Hollywood celebrity. That proves with what's going on with the Janelle stuff. Oh, you were talking about Sloan. I'm so not with it tonight. It's okay. I think it's been a weird day for everybody. So I think Sloan is a super sensitive guy. From what I have seen from him, is I think he's super genuine and really, really sensitive and in tune with his emotions. So I think he's afraid if he ever were to say anything negative about her that he would get the backlash. And I honestly don't know how he would handle the backlash, because every time he gets backlash, understandably so, but it really affects him. And Katie is obviously shown time and time again that she doesn't relent. When she finds somebody to target, she targets them. And we have seen it with kind of like the BX Beast Boys stuff. She will put you into a corner for so bad for so long that if you don't have the gall to deal with it and just look past it, she tries to bully you off. And I don't know if Sloan would be able to handle pushing through that, if that makes sense. And I did not mean that in a negative way towards Sloan. I love Sloan. I've talked to him in the DMs before, when he was having a hard time. So I understand where he's coming from. You love Smokey Glow's rants, but you just starting watching her. So he is super passionate. What I think is going on with Smokey Glow, if you've been a long time follower of hers, is what I have noticed. I've watched a couple of her recent videos. I went a while without watching any videos just because for some reason I didn't want to click on them. And it's not like she had done anything that made me like question her or her integrity or anything like that. But I just was like, I don't want to watch her content. So after that chat, I went in and I watched one or two of her videos, and then I went and I looked at her tweets, and I think it's because she's kind of lost. I mean, she still comes off as the same person most of the time, but she is more. Before, it was very obvious she was being family friendly and she was being a little bit more sweet. And if you reflect her old style to her current style, she is very much more like, this is my opinion and it is what it is, which is fine. Like, you can change, but I think that's the change that she had that has disconnected me from her more. Toads, go back and watch some of them and see if you feel if that's where your disconnect is coming from too. Maybe that's just what I'm seeing. She thinks Trisha Paytas and Jeffree Star watch her videos. She will go after Sloan one day. She tried. She already has tried. She tried to go after him about a mask on Instagram Live. And I had like 300 subscribers and I didn't care. And I commented back to the tweet and I was like, he had his mask on, and when he's out, like, I defended him because she was just pointing something out to try and say, oh, look, I caught you doing something. She very much to me seems like that person who wants you to make a mistake so she can use it later against you. I know she does it with everyone. She gets close and then does something nasty. She loves accusing people of talking about her son and will lie and say they did when no one really did. So that's one thing I obviously have refused to talk about, is her child. I think, as well as everybody else, I have my opinions, but I don't know that life, and that's not really appropriate for me. And honestly, I don't think it's appropriate for anybody to comment on. It is questionable, though. Yeah, that just goes to show how my vocabulary typically is. I feel like maybe that she thinks her opinion is the only right opinion and any other one is a terrible person. It could be that she gives that vibes off right now because of the election. And I'm not trying to get political. We're not going to get political. But since voting has started, she has pushed that in her videos, which is fine. It's a good message to push. However, I think it's a good message to push if you want to be neutral. I don't think, since she is not a political channel, and she has said before she doesn't want to be a political channel and she didn't want to talk about her political views, as she has gained subscribers, she has begun to be more comfortable in just asserting what she thinks onto her viewers. And if that's what she wants to do, she can, but I feel that that's where I'm coming from a lot. That might be better words on how I feel. No one's talked about her son. I've never seen anybody talk about her son because I feel like we all are respectable adults, unlike her, and we're not going to low blow because that really is a low blow. Could it be done? Yeah. Should it be done? Absolutely not. Unless you're in that house or you know how it actually is operating, I don't think it's really appropriate to talk about. But she will let you know some stuff going on with her kid, which is ironic that she does that. Really? See, I watched that live in the hospital was the first live I ever watched, and I had just subscribed to her. So I was not hardcore keeping up with her at that time. So I did not know she got upset about people asking if he was okay. Yeah. And I think I'm agreeing with you, Toads. I can see where if you're not in the US and you're not dealing with our politics, how you can have an outside perspective of our politics and how they operate. So I can definitely see, and I'm agreeing with you that I think you are probably right that a lot of it does kind of boil down to her being a little bit pushy. I know Britt said that she thinks she's been a little bit preachy. I don't know if I get preachy from her, but I do get the pushiness. I know she did that live while at the hospital. I was kind of weirded out by that. Like I get there's not much she probably could have done for him in that situation, but I don't understand why she did it at the hospital if she didn't want people to know she was there. Does that make sense? I think a lot of people agree with that statement, Bob and Carrie. But those are the kind of I don't mind that you comment that, but those are the kind of things that I don't want to push my opinion out there because I am the one hosting the channel and I don't feel that that's necessarily appropriate. But I don't mind if you guys have that discussion because it happens and people have their opinions on that. And I think it's okay for you to talk about them. That's just one topic I don't want to put my opinion out there for. The truth will come out eventually if anything needs to be talked about on it. I think a lot of people care about him, even if they don't care about her, because she has been vulnerable in the past and she has talked about him and his needs in the past. So it's understandable that people want updates on him. I don't understand where that disconnect has happened for Katie, to be quite honest. I feel comfortable talking about those things. Like, I don't understand why you started your channel and was kind of being an advocate. And when she was writing, she was being an advocate. Where did the disassociation come from? Like, where did she draw the line to like say, I'm no longer going to talk about it and I don't want it to be discussed? She has the right to do that, and I don't really care that she has done that. I just want to know why. I think it would clear up a lot of questions for her viewers. I don't know who Phil and Alex are. She goes after people she has no right going after. She does, like, she has, what was her reasoning in going after Janelle? Because she wants to push her agenda. That is why she went after Janelle. She has had conversations with Janelle, which we know because she screenshotted or said that she had DM'd her before, and she made a video about it along with other creators. I honestly think she went after Janelle not because she wanted to defend that other YouTuber. I really think she went on that rant video because she wanted to, like, say, hey, I made a video too. I was just as critical. Why didn't you complain about me? You can't stand her using the word clout. I've used the word clout, but it's probably annoying to hear her say it because we all know that's what she wants at the end of the day. They're a huge family channel. They adopted 2 kids and went through infertility and have a baby with a heart defect after 11 years of trying to have a baby. Alex is a former NICU nurse. And she went after them. But see, this goes back to, I'm gonna have to look at that channel because I'm not familiar with them. But this again goes back to what we talked about before in my last live, that she wanted to go after Sloan and disagree with Sloan for making that video on Britton Baby, or whatever the heck her name was. And then she's sitting here going after a family channel herself who has had issues with their children. And why are we talking about, I don't know. How'd she get these celebrities to get in contact with her? I think she probably harassed them. How people are using her name for clout. Well, I've talked about her in my last 2 lives, and I've not included her in my description or tagged her. So I'm obviously not trying to use her name for clout. But what she knows and what she refuses to identify with people is when we tag her name and people search her, our videos come up. So it's informing people who are maybe looking for her, or allowing people who maybe want to see criticism of her for our videos to pop up when they search it. And she knows that. She just doesn't, she's not transparent with her audience. Yeah, she DMs them and ats them constantly. And I don't know. Like, I don't understand how that would go. Like, why? I think maybe Janelle had a conversation with her before because she used to cover the teen mom stuff and has always kind of covered the teen mom stuff and the drama is going on with that. So if she emailed Janelle's team, or once Janelle got kicked out of MTV, maybe she saw that and saw it as an outlet for her to talk to somebody. Obviously, it didn't pan out. I think most people have come to that. It's hard to not adore Phil and Alex. They're religious, but not like over the top. The second daughter was an open adoption with a subscriber. They're the most unproblematic family ever. Well, and that's the issue. Everybody, you can be the most unproblematic person, but somebody can always find a problem. I don't feel like I've been problematic, but I'm sure somebody can say that I've said something or taken something I've said out of context and make me appear problematic. That's an issue with being on social media. So I know Janelle did tell her to stop contacting her, which Katie tried to make seem like she hasn't contacted her in a long time, and that Janelle was just trying to have a comeback because Katie had called her out for calling out the other YouTuber. This just is showing Katie's cycle, that she has to be in drama. She has to be talked about because that's the only way people come to her channel. And I've had that comment before that, talking about her is only perpetuating people to go to her channel. It is, and I get that. But at the end of the day, it's also kind of making her subscribers who are under whatever spell she has them under to maybe second think the next time they watch a video, to pay attention to those behaviors more. I mean, I subscribed to her channel for a while, and obviously I still watch her content because it's the only way I know what's going on and the only way I know what drama she's pulling up. Unfortunately, we can dislike Katie and not want people to sub to her as much as we want. However, at the end of the day, she is always going to have some kind of following. Is it going to remain this large? Probably. Is it going to get bigger? Probably not, because all of this is coming out. Has she ever contacted any? I don't know if she's ever talked to anybody in the Duggar family. Hasn't she said she has? I think she's said she's talked to people, but I don't know if she has. I don't. That's the problem, is people can't even tell when she's being honest because she lies so much, Yeah, so I know in our last live, we've been ranting about her for a minute, and I haven't even talked about, we've talked about the Janelle stuff kind of, but in the last time I talked to you guys on live, you wanted me to talk about that video she made about her own story. And I did go watch it like I told you guys I would. I think my sentiment is probably going to be the same as anybody else for the most part. I am not discounting the fact that she is a survivor. I am not a person to not believe that she's a survivor. However, the timing of that video is really weird. And I think a lot of people are finding that to be true. And I know she went on one of her little lives or Instagram. She went on some kind of live and even acknowledged the fact that people are questioning when she posted that, but that she felt she needed to use her platform finally, and that it had nothing to do with backlash. The fact that she even mentions that, to me, says she was doing it because of the backlash. I don't think it was appropriate for her to call out everybody that she did. And she can have whatever argument she wants. I know she went on some very lengthy Twitter rants because people were not happy that she did that. She acknowledged the fact it was out of statutes of limitation. So I do not understand why she felt it was, she's trying to hurt them. That is not sending a good message, in my opinion. You could have done that and let them maintain their anonymity and let it be what it is. That would have been just as powerful and just as empowering for other survivors to tell their story or to get help if they haven't. However, there are more than one resource, and I don't think it's appropriate to just provide one resource because it's the one that helped you. That doesn't mean it's going to help somebody else. I was not very happy with how that video turned out once I watched it. And not because she was telling her story. The timing, again, is weird. I just don't understand why she did it the way she did. There is a way, you're right, there is a way for her to get justice, and Twitter's not going to be it. Sorry, Lisa, I missed that comment. I don't think any Duggars have ever actually reached out to her. I think she's always reaching out to these larger celebrities. You didn't watch it? So after she did her famous hated video, I feel, of Sophie and calling her a brat and going on that live and just making an ass of herself, a few days later, she made a video telling her story of her trauma that she experienced and how that whole experience was for her. However, during that video, she called out all of the family and she doxed their businesses, their names. And she said she was doing it because she wanted to empower others and use her platform for good. I don't think that that's the appropriate message to send, in my opinion. So that's what I'm talking about. It was brought to my attention in my last live a couple of nights ago that a couple of people wanted me to talk about it. So I went and watched it so we could talk about it now. And that's, I mean, if you guys have any questions about what I just said for clarification or anything, let me know. But that's really how I feel about it. You side-eye her so often that your eyes are permanently stuck looking sideways. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way because a lot of people want to keep up with her antics, but they don't want to support her. And it kind of sucks that we're stuck in like this revolution. If there were no arrests, no convictions, just an investigation, saying things about the family opens her to massive legal trouble. And you also added that you're not saying you don't believe her. No. I agree with that. And she has acknowledged this, and she has said just because there wasn't an arrest or a conviction doesn't mean that this didn't happen to me, which is true. And I think she's just trying to continue. She's kind of having a white savior complex, in my opinion, and trying to be a white horse for people who've been survivors of this kind of trauma. And she's trying to continue speaking out because she doesn't want it to seem like she's backing down. However, it would be in her better interest to back down because she is making herself look like a dummy. And I have seen tweets say that that family is obtaining attorneys. I don't know if that's true. It was just a tweet, but I have seen that posted on Twitter. So, and she shouldn't be surprised. That's not the way to handle things like this. And that's really, in my opinion, not the way to empower others. Yes, speak your voice. Yes, tell your story. However, on a public platform, when you know it's out of statute of limitations, I can't speak. And you have already had it investigated before. Is it traumatizing and horrible what you experienced that they didn't believe you? Absolutely. However, it is reality. That sucks. I know it does. Just like when we talk about stuff with the child welfare system, our system is not perfect. You should also, in my opinion, not perpetuate that that's going to happen to a newer survivor. This was in 2007, you said? Law enforcement has come a long way. Laws have been passed in that time. Bills have been passed in that time to help survivors. So I don't necessarily agree with how you went about how she went about. She's not watching this. I know she's not. So I don't know why I'm talking like she's here. I don't agree with how she went about it. Hi, we're talking about Katie. The true issue is approaching everything as breaking news and an exclusive. It's like, hey, relax and get your facts straight. Yeah, I agree with you, Lisa. Exactly. Like that's the biggest problem I have with her content is how she is going about presenting it. That's the best term. How she's going about presenting it to her audience is not. And when she gets like really hot news or hot tea, she just spews off at the mouth, and she provides so much misinformation. And she may think she's doing good, which sometimes I don't even think she actually is. She's just thinking of the dollar signs. If I get this up first, people are going to see my videos because I'm going to be the first one to have one that's going to have the most views. So when people go to search this topic, mine's going to be at the top of the search bar. That is how she's thinking, because all she cares about at the end of the day is her income. I don't think she really cares about her subscribers. That is my personal opinion. I don't think she does. It actually hurt the Me Too movement. If she told her story, no names, I would support her statement. I can't support slandering an entire family. And she can't. I'm trying not to get mad. I'm trying to maintain some composure because this is a serious topic and I don't want to do what I'm saying she does and pop off at the mouth. She cannot put what her perpetrator did on their family. 100% you can't. Whether if they covered it up and you had actual proof that happened, then okay. But you don't. And why are you including his grandparents? Who's the one who alleged, from what you said, it was the grandparents or grandfather who is the one who started this family business that is now so successful. How are you putting it on him? He's not even the direct parent of who you are saying, who you said was perpetrating on you. Like, no. She was trying to stir stuff up. Claire, it will post. However, I've noticed when I post my lives, I don't know if it's because it's on a laptop, but there's a delay. So I'm not sure how quickly this will end up, but I let them post after I close them out. Della, how can she be a T channel and call herself a journalist? You know, what's funny about that is she claims that she's a journalist when she gets praise. And then whenever she gets hate, she said, "Oh, I never said I was a journalist." It's hilarious. Like, she contradicts herself constantly. She needs to sit in a bath, put a face mask on, and chill for a bit. She probably should. I just don't know if it would do her any good. That's right, Bob and Carrie. I didn't even mention that. She called out the actual investigators and said that he did a crappy job, in a lack of better terms. I would like her to pass law enforcement school, the academy. I would like her to go serve out on our streets. I know there's a lot of political uproar about law enforcement. I have a lot of law enforcement in my family. I have worked with law enforcement with almost every job I've had in my profession. I get that there are some bad cops out there. However, we need law enforcement. And there's misinformation going on, and people think their job should be done in a certain way. You can't tell an audience or tell anybody that things need to be done the way that you think they need to be done without knowing the law yourself. And you can try and have the argument with me that they don't know all the laws. I'm not getting into that debate. I'm just saying She needs to try and be a law enforcement officer, work her way up to detective, and you work a case. And you tell me that you have a 100% success rate, then I'll let you say that. Until that happens, no, you have no right discrediting a law enforcement officer because he didn't believe your story. Is that bad? Yes. However, think of the time that happened. I'm not excusing it, but it was 2007. That was before a lot of the movements, before a lot of the bills, before all of this stuff that has now made it more possible for victims, for survivors, for women in general to come out and say something. So again, there were a lot of things in your video that anybody who is going to sit down and think critically is going to struggle with. I think it rang out to survivors she has in her following and maybe empowered them hearing somebody get on a large platform and tell their story. I just think it would have been better if she had handled it and told her story in a different way. I think that video could have gained her a lot more subscribers have she had handled it differently. I mean, she wants to grow. She should have thought about how she was delivering such a serious, hardcore message. I missed a lot of the chat because I went on a little rant. Let me scroll up a little bit. I don't want to miss any questions or anything that you guys have for me. Can I do that? Okay, that's better. Sorry if it moves. It's easier for me to use the arrow buttons. Where was I at? I totally went on a long rant, obviously. Sorry, guys. She is asking to be sued, Jen. And like I said, I saw a tweet that the family was obtaining attorneys. I don't know how factual that is. But it was said, and if they are as affluent as she is alluding to, I would imagine they are, because she slandered them. Whether this happened or not, there's been a law enforcement investigation, and unfortunately, nothing came of it. So she is slandering them. She does need to step back from the internet. She really does. Like, she needs to take a break. She is either on live, posting a video, or constantly tweeting on Twitter. When are you sleeping? When are you sleeping? And people question the use of some of your medications because that's behaviors that if you're abusing your medicine, those are effects of that. And I'm not accusing you of that. I'm just stating you make it very easy for people to question you because of your behaviors that you evidently put online. Melody, you asked me if you couldn't remember if you asked me in the last live if I watched the channel Profiling Evil. I don't. I will look into them though. I'm gonna have to get I'm gonna open a notepad real quick because I'm gonna forget these channels we've talked about today. And then when I get back on live, I'm gonna feel really bad that I have no idea. Okay. She is in over her head. I think she is too. I agree with you, Bob and Carrie. Like, with that sentiment, it's been 13 years. Like, if she really wanted something to happen, I don't understand why she wasn't more persistent back then and why she thinks it's appropriate now to release their names, the law enforcement agencies, and all of that in a video. You hope it's true, Jay. I am inclined to believe her. I don't want to ever not believe somebody. And if it ever comes out, not just with her, but with anybody who's ever disclosed something super traumatic happening to them, that they lied, you guys will see a whole different side of me, because it will not be good for that individual. Jen said if this family has a business, they will have to, an accusation like that will negatively affect their business. She's forcing their hand almost. They have multiple businesses. They have restaurants, limousine companies, and something else. I can't remember. They have quite a bit of wealth from what it sounds like. Oh, that the family's suing her. Okay, Jen. Sorry, this is what happens when you get behind in the chat. You know, I don't really know how I feel about that. Like, should she be put in her place, and should she have to either edit that out of her video or take the video down? I do think that those things need to be happen, but I'm not a huge proponent for like people losing their livelihoods entirely because of a dumb mistake she's made. And I feel that way across the board with almost every creator, except for the Stoffers. Those guys don't need to be, they need to be deplatformed. And I feel like almost everybody who knows about that story agrees with that. Lack of sleep, regardless of why, is horrible for physical and mental health. It's just not a good way to go live. Yeah, plus the fact that she's sipping on wine half the time. I mean, I don't have any issues. I know Britt talked about this a little bit tonight. I don't have any issues with people drinking online. Like, if you're of age and you're being responsible, go ahead. But if you're tired or stressed out, you know, maybe drinking isn't the best idea when you have a large platform and people are probably watching you. 2 YouTube channels, Periscope videos, Twitter rants, infiltrating Facebook, Instagram rants, all in one day. How exhausting. Yeah, I don't understand how she does it. I can barely keep up with my YouTube, let alone like my Twitter and my Instagram. I don't ever post on there. I did, when was it, earlier today, because I didn't know I had gotten the community tab to let you guys know I was going to go live. But now that I have that community tab, I probably won't. The only time I hardly ever post on one or both is to promote a video. And I don't even know how many people are coming to my channel because of my post or because me tagging myself and other stuff. But I don't know how she consistently, and it's not that I can understand how she is on the apps, because I am on the apps a lot during the day too. It's that she is consistently posting on every single app, almost on the hour. And you're cutting time out to film videos, and then there's some kind of editing going into her video. Like, where is the time? Like, I don't know how she does it. I really don't. I mean, it's almost amazing. They're really amazing. Both came from law enforcement backgrounds. It's 2 men. Okay. I'm definitely going to look into that then. I put it in a notepad for me to look in. And I had another, I can't remember who. You guys will learn, like I've talked about this in other videos. I'm going to mention it here since I have some new followers in here. I have a bad memory due to the trauma I've experienced as a child. It's something that has affected me long term. So if I don't ever remember your name, I'm sorry. I will remember like half of things a lot. Somebody wanted me to look into the Weiss family, into, was it Angela with B something? It might have been Bob and Carrie. It might have been you. Maybe not. I don't know. I have started to look into those families for you guys, whoever wanted me to. Or was that a comment on a different video? I can't remember. I am looking into those 2 families, though. Oh, and she's always on some other dude's channel as well. Yeah, are you talking about Uni? That individual. he's yeah, I agree with you, Bob and Carrie, that they're going to demand, if they actually are taking legal action, that they're going to demand for something. They have to. If they actually have gotten anybody involved, I would think they are. The drink isn't good because she came being alcoholic. She wrote about what? The drinking isn't good because she came out about herself and her husband being alcoholics. She wrote about it in a blog. In a recent live, she admitted that she had, I think it was in her video about her story. I think it's in the beginning of that video that she says she had a DUI in 2007. I mean, that was a long time ago, but if you have addictive behaviors, it's a constant battle if you have addictive behaviors. The dad challenge video from today and Phil and Alex. I wrote down Phil and Alex. I'm already subscribed to dad challenge, and I saw he posted a video and I didn't watch it. I did not go to work today because I had a migraine. I have chronic migraines, and with the move from Florida to Utah, the elevation affects my migraines more. And we recently had a temperature drop, so the pressure changed, so it immediately gave me a migraine. So if you were in Brit's live and I said my day started out rough, that's why I had to miss work today. The business probably employs other people. Oh, 100% they do, because the way that she's alluding to, this family has like large businesses that have been in operation since that time. So you know that they have a good employee base. Uni is awful. I don't understand how. Okay, I need to be careful because I really haven't watched much of his content. However, I have watched some of it. I don't understand how this individual has a following. Like, that might sound mean, and it's really not my place to say. But he has that little character that he talks about always being cracked out. But that's one of Katie's best friends, and we were just saying how she maybe has an addictive personality. Interesting. Then why is she drinking every day? She admitted what, Jay? Are you talking about how she admitted she had the DUI? She did admit that. She didn't admit that she's had an addictive personality. But if you get a DUI, you obviously have a drinking problem to the point that you're going to break the law. So you have some kind of addiction issues. Wooden Eagle has a channel and read the blog. I have seen Wooden Eagle's videos get suggested, and I think I maybe have watched one or two of them, but I didn't. Did I subscribe to her or not? I might not have. There's been a lot of channels like providing their input, and it's hard to keep up with everybody. Your migraines are set off by biometric pressure changes. I literally feel your pain. I can predict when the weather with my brain. I'm not that skilled. Yeah, I've had them since I was 18, and it was an awful experience for me to get diagnosed with my migraines. Yeah, Lisa, I had heard of Uni. I'm in the same boat as you. I had heard of him when the BX Beast Boys stuff started to happen, and I watched part of one of his videos, and I was really turned off by not only his commentary, but that character he has. Like, I couldn't even watch all of it. I was like that put off by it. And then I saw more recently that he was going to go live and address criticism videos, which Katie promoted like 2 days before it happened. Or the day it was scheduled on a day, and Katie's was like, oh, I was thinking about going into Uni's stream, but I know they're watching people critique me, so I'm not going to. And then it got pushed back a day. I watched that one. And I watched that one fully because they were being terrible people to two creators that I enjoy and had no reason to be pulled apart like they did. I'd hold off on Uni until tomorrow. Yeah, I don't even really know the whole ongoings with the court stuff. Honestly, I couldn't be bothered to get into that. I'm not trying to be. Oh, wow, I'm sorry. It's okay. I mean, I've kind of learned to deal with them. I was talking about Uni and the court stuff. So I don't really care about that stuff. Like, I'm not here to, and I know most of you guys know that, I'm not here to like dig up into people and like just to talk trash about people. Katie is just one that continues to need to be called out. Just like the Stoffers, and I've continued to cover the Stoffers. And I've continued to cover, you know, other problematic beauty channels. Like, I intend to call out crappy behavior and to provide my commentary on things that people want my commentary on. Going keto helped you? So I've tried keto. We're slightly eating keto right now. It doesn't affect my migraines. Unfortunately, nothing has been able to stop my migraines. I'm not medicated for them. I used to be, I'm not anymore. I was getting too many bad side effects from the medication. And before, what would trigger my migraines was severe stress. And I've had quite a bit of stressful things going on lately, which is probably part of why I'm having an episode. Hi, Emily. And I can respect that. I can respect the fact that you disagree that she's an alcoholic because she has a DUI. I can respect that based off of her current behaviors, of her repeatedly drinking and getting on lives, appearing intoxicated because she's slurring her speech and she can't keep her thoughts straight. If you've gotten a DUI before, in my opinion, and you're still drinking on a regular basis and getting on a live stream and not seeing the effects it's having on you, it's affecting you to some extent, which is what an addict is. If it's controlling you so much that you can't see when it's affecting you. She gave him multiple super chats. I took screenshots of all of the super chats that her and her husband sent. He sent about $30 or $40 worth. I haven't sat down to actually add it. I mean, you can be a recovering alcoholic. In Emily's defense, you can be a recovering alcoholic. Is the behavior she's showing us now reflective of that? Not really. I mean, she's never, unless she has the clear glass with wine in it, we really don't know what she's drinking. But she has been open at times that she's drinking a glass of wine. Does drinking a glass of wine mean that you're an alcoholic? No. You think she likes being called out, Michelle? She absolutely likes to be called out, but she wants to be called out by people who have a larger following so that she can perpetuate it, so she can continue to get her name out there, because that's how you gain subscribers. No, Bob and Carrie, I did not know who the Stoffers were. So my previous, although I have been on YouTube like as a viewer for a long time, I did not watch family channels. I don't have children, so I don't watch family channels. It's a little weird to me because I don't have children. I don't really see what they could offer me, if that makes sense. If you get enjoyment out of that having children or not, I'm not trying to knock you for that, but for me it seems weird. So I did not ever watch family channels. Now that I see how problematic they have been, I want to be an advocate for kids and to provide like my personal story out to people, which I have. But because I've experienced a lot of that, I can see it. And because I've worked professionally in child welfare, I can provide some insight. So I do intend to continue talking about family channels. I don't want to overload myself, though. I hope you get some relief. Having them daily is the worst thing. So I don't get them daily. So I am very blessed in that aspect. And they have reduced a lot as I have gotten older. It's just since the move, I have been struggling with them, not just because of the temperature and the elevation change, but I've just had a lot going on in my personal life that's led me to be a little bit more stressed out than normal. She smashes the Pierce at night on her Instagram rants. I've never actually caught an Instagram rant. I don't even know if I'm subscribed to her on Instagram. I've seen her stuff, so I must be. You can see that she's drinking alcohol. I've seen her drink alcohol. I've seen her go live and say what she's drinking. He makes homemade wine. There's nothing wrong with that. My brother makes his own beers. He's got his own little brewery going, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But the problem is you don't know the alcohol content. Well, the person who's making it does, but when you're drinking it, who knows what percentage of alcohol is in what she's drinking. It's not my place to really say she's an alcoholic or an addict, but her behaviors, especially with that historic information, her behaviors allude to she must struggle to some degree with that. And you can go in recovery, but typically people who are in recovery, especially from alcohol, not all of them, but a lot of the time they abstain from it entirely because it's just too tempting. Moonshine too strong. I woke up the next day. I've had moonshine before, and that was a rough hangover. I didn't even drink that much, but I'm also more of a lightweight. I can't handle anything stronger than like a light beer. I can drink a couple of those and be totally fine, but anything else, I'm like a one drink and I'm out. You see her stuff on Reddit. So I talked about this in Britt's live stream. I have heard about the Reddit page. I think I tried to go to it like once, but it wanted me to download the app and I just couldn't be bothered. So I hadn't. However, with what Britt said and the information she provided, it might be a good idea just to take a gander. But as I said, she's somebody that I don't mind talking about, but unless she does something ridiculously bad, I am not going to, you can X out of the option to download the app. I think I tried that and then it wanted me to like log in or something. I was having an issue. My phone's been on the fritz lately. So it could have been I was tired and having it was more of a user error than what was going on. But I don't mind. I was going to say, I don't mind talking about Katie in lives. I probably will not make a video on her unless she does something that just needs to be blatantly called out. So if you guys ever see something that I don't ever talk about in a live, just let me know. I don't mind to go back and review like I did from the last one a couple of days ago. I'm gonna have to take a gander at it and figure it out. Probably not tonight. It's almost 8 o'clock here. I still have to cook dinner. I'm surprised I haven't been barged in yet to make dinner. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or do you have any other questions? Ouch. Any other suggestions on any content you want? I'll do the nail video for you guys. I think some of the people who were requesting that have left, but I will either do that tomorrow or Saturday. They look pretty. Oh, thanks. The lighting, I use my same lighting that I use for my videos, but the camera on this, I'm really washed out. This camera really washes out the color. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody who's been here. I am gonna hop off so I can go cook dinner, and I will post on a community tab my next live. Lip color or lip gloss? It's all gone now. So this is my natural lip color. I don't really wear lip products that often, primarily only for my videos, even though I have a ton of them. This is lip gloss, and she's an influencer by Patrick Ta. It's the one I've been playing with this whole live. So that's what I'm wearing, even though it's worn off now. Like I said, I will put up my next, I know, great. All of his lip glosses that he came out all have like catchy names like this one. I can't remember. This is the only one I have because Raw Beauty Christie raved about this, and a lot of the products she likes, I like. So I bought this because of that. I tried to get the Manny MUA one that she raves about all the time, but it was sold out. So anyways, I'm going to try and sign off. So I will post when my next live will be. I don't know what is in store for this weekend, so I may go live this weekend during the day like I did last weekend when I get ready for the day. I will have my nail video up either tomorrow or Saturday, and I will have a video up the opposing day. So you have a video coming tomorrow and Saturday. I shouldn't say that because I still need to film you'll have some videos coming out. One's going to be the nail tutorial, and one is going to be a video talking about being adopted. It's in a long-term effects video in that playlist. So, all right. I appreciate everybody being here. Yeah, the lip gloss is awesome. I'm pretty sure it's kind of a pricey one, but it is worth it. It's a little bit thicker. Here. I do my makeup, but I'm not. If you guys ever want me to actually do like a legitimate tutorial, I will. I just didn't think anybody would be interested in that. So that is the lip gloss. So it's shiny and there's like reflex in it. This lighting's not doing me a good job. I'm doing too hot right now for it. But it's a clear gloss. It looks like there's a nude undertone to it. And then there's gold and like almost hollow reflect in it. It is a thicker gloss. So if you don't like, it's not super sticky. It's just a little bit thicker. Like you feel it on your lips. Usually that's with a fresh coat on. Usually I don't like thicker glosses because it does that stringy thing. This one does not do that stringy thing, but you can feel it on your lips. It is actually, for a lip gloss, it's pretty nourishing in my opinion. Like if my lips are dry, it helps them not feel as dry. All right, I am gonna sign off. Otherwise, I can keep talking. If you can't tell, I have no issues talking. So I am gonna go though, so I can cook dinner. And I'll have those videos up for you guys in the next couple of days. And I will probably go live on Saturday, either earlier in the morning or afternoon. I'll try to put up a post in the community tab tomorrow. And I'll post it on my Twitter and Instagram if I remember. It's easier for me to post on Instagram than it is for me to post opposite. It's easier for me to post on Twitter than it is on Instagram. So if you want to follow me on those, it's the same handle as here. But I appreciate everybody who's been here, and I hope you guys are all having a good day, evening, or night, wherever you are, and I will see you next time. Bye.